Hey, good morning. 6:30 in the morning. Welcome to a Monday, January 6th. Temperature 5 degrees, wind chill minus 11 here in western Iowa. It is cold outside. And it snowed yesterday in lots of places. So I couldn't find a total ice accumulation map, but I do have, this is where the snow was on the ground this morning. And yeah, tons of it across Kansas, especially in the northeastern part, over a foot. You get into Missouri, a wide swath of 8 to 10 to 12 inches, which goes into Illinois a little bit less, and then a little bit more when you get into southern Indiana, especially into Kentucky, southern Ohio, into West Virginia. Now, it's still snowing in those places and east, and we'll show you that. So again, I can't show you the ice on here, but I was watching Tornado Pagey on her YouTube channel. She was streaming last night from, I think she started in Illinois, then into Indiana and Kentucky, and there's just ice everywhere and lots of power outages. So definitely that is an issue as well. Still power out, I'm sure, in lots of places across the Midwest. Hazards for today, that storm continues eastward with plenty of winter storm warnings from Illinois all the way into Maryland. We have winter weather advisories as well. Cold air has pushed southward, and so we have freeze warnings, Houston, and down into southern Louisiana, and still continuing for Florida into Georgia. We were joking last night too in the chat. When Florida gets this cold, usually those iguanas get too cold and they start falling out of trees. They're not dead, they're just too cold to move. And so falling iguanas could be an issue in Florida as that cold air pushes in later tonight. All right, further to the west, in the Rockies, we got winter weather advisories also up there in Montana, and including a winter storm watch up there in northern Montana. And it's wind issues for California. Red flag warnings there in the red. High wind watch there in the deep brown. High wind warnings in the lighter deep brown. Wind advisories too. So just a lot of wind, California into Nevada and Oregon as a storm approaches, which is the forerunner to our Texas snow that we'll talk about here in just a little bit. All right, next 2 days of precipitation. That heavier rain moves out of Mississippi into Alabama, Georgia, and further east. And then as you get north, that's ice and snow. 3 tornado reports yesterday, 2 in Mississippi, 1 in Arkansas. Some damage, but I haven't heard of any injuries or anything like that. So that's good news. All right. The West also seeing some rain, precipitation, and some snow. And look at the Four Corners. We're starting to see precipitation into Arizona and New Mexico. And where will that fall as snow? Well, parts of Arizona into New Mexico in the mountainous areas anyway. And a lot of snow, it looks like, for Colorado. I mean, a lot being 4 to 6 inches, maybe 4 to 5. And then there's our snowstorm continuing in the Midwest. So we're looking forward to another dump of snow, especially further east into Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, Delaware. We're looking at a good 8 to 10 plus inches here. And then lake effect snow is still an issue up there in New York State too. Here's your ice accumulation for the next 24 hours, and still icing up there in Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, especially West Virginia, and into North Carolina. And then, so it's just cold. Cold enough for the ice accumulations, which is just a big mess. All right, it is cold. And here's how much below average it is across the plains. 15 degrees below average all the way through Texas and Louisiana into Mississippi. Kansas really like 30 degrees below average this morning. A little above average ahead of the cold front in Georgia and Florida, even South Carolina. But that's going to change. Here's your temperature difference from this time yesterday. And it's like, you think the cold front went through Texas? I mean, it's 44 degrees cooler than this time yesterday in Dallas. Yeah. And it's quite a bit warmer in the southeast, but that's going to change as the cold front continues. Current temperatures, when you're 44 degrees cooler than yesterday in Dallas, you're at 27 right now. 25 in Waco, 34 San Antonio. So it's cold all the way down into Texas and Louisiana and into Mississippi. And then look at Kansas. These are actual air temperatures, single digits below zero, Kansas into Nebraska, and then up there in North Dakota and Minnesota. And the wind chills, you throw those in there, and it feels like 26 in Houston. It feels like 24 in San Antonio. Crazy. It feels like 14 in Memphis. Sorry about that, cuz. And then we have minus 22. So temperatures minus 15 to minus 20, Kansas into Nebraska and parts of Missouri. And then here, like I told you, we're minus 11 where I live in Harlan, Iowa. And so it's a cold start, especially when you're throwing those wind chills. Today, here's the surface, cold air all the way through Texas, Alabama, banked up against the Rockies in New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana. And the cold air moving into the southwest with some showers and storms and some rain. And further north, it's going to be that ice that I showed you, and then the snow that's going on further to the north, especially Great Lakes. Tomorrow, here we start to see our Four Corners storm. So snow moving into Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona. Some rain at the lower elevations in Arizona, but even snow expected in some of the high valleys as we get into the next couple days. Snow up there in the Great Lakes still. Wednesday, that's when you're going to see your snow in the high valleys around Tucson, in southern Arizona. New Mexico snow, Texas snow, and ice and rain. And then up in the northern Rockies, upper northern plains, rain and snow with some ice possible. Let's talk about the possibility of snow in Texas. This is from now until noon Sunday, how much snow the GFS is expecting. And look at Dallas. So the Dallas area, around 8 inches of snow. We'll see if that comes true. Lubbock, you're sitting around 4 or 5. And then as you head into, say, southern Arkansas, that's a good 8 to 10. All the way up into Memphis, good 6 to 8. Now, the Euro has a slightly different story. It's more filled in for eastern New Mexico, West Texas, including El Paso. But still, for, Wichita Falls all the way to Dallas, we're talking 8 to 10 inches of snow, according to the European. Now, less snow for you, Memphis, but still a good 3 or so inches. So we'll see which one comes true. But the trend is more confidence for some snow into Texas and Oklahoma, Arkansas, northern Mississippi, into Tennessee, and even into more snow from Missouri and Kentucky. So, this will be happening in the next few days as we go through the week. Now, ice-wise, quite a bit, according to the GFS, especially for northern Louisiana, but enough to cause some problems. Now, when you're looking at North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, that's today. But the other stuff is later this week. So through central Texas into northern Louisiana, especially. European has a little further north and a little bit more in Texas, and then into southern Arkansas as well. So something to watch. Let's show our work as we go to the GFS model, and we are seeing snow still, our big storm rocking here. A line of thunderstorms, ice as you get into Virginia, snow further to the north, light stuff in the west. This is 6 a.m. And as we go through the day today, the storm moves pretty quickly offshore. This gets us to this evening. Light snow lingering back behind, but that thing is going to be but a memory and lots of pictures. Cold north wind blowing into the east and all the way down into the southeast as that cold air is going to advance further east. Lake effect snows with that. Some light snow up here in Colorado. This is 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And as we get into the day tomorrow, kind of quiet, but cold east of the Rockies. And then we're starting to see an increase in precipitation here as an upper level low moves into the southwest and our surface low forms. This one, it formed briefly here south of Arizona, now deeper into Mexico, but spreading some snow into Arizona and Texas. Now remember, this is the GFS model we're looking at here. The European has a little bit more snow back in New Mexico and West Texas, including far West Texas. But here's what we have. This is midnight Wednesday. We're starting to see ice and snow busting out in Texas and moving and increasing into North Texas, Central Texas. Ice and snow, a little bit of snow back in West Texas. Heavy snow, northeastern Texas. Heavy ice, Louisiana. And so heavy snow, Arkansas, northern Louisiana, heavy ice, heavy rain south of that. This gets us into Thursday night. And as we advance further into Thursday night, this is Thursday midnight. Snow in Arkansas, moving into northern Mississippi and Tennessee. Heavy snow, Memphis, early Friday morning. Later, this is 6 a.m. Friday morning. And as we get through the day Friday, we see that snow spreading through Tennessee and more snow for Kentucky and further north. And a little bit of light ice for South Carolina, North Carolina, as we get into Saturday with some pretty good rains and thunderstorms across the southeast, and then some lighter snow with the system here in the Rockies by Saturday night, moving into Sunday. I might get a little bit of snow Sunday morning. That's noon actually, and into the afternoon, maybe some light snow for Iowa. I'll take it. All right, so the trend is colder for much of the country, although a little bit of break from the cold up there in the northern plains, upper Midwest. But again, like I said yesterday, above average temperature still doesn't mean above freezing this time of year. But the coldest, the best chance for the coldest is the East Coast. And precipitation-wise, yeah, Texas, New Mexico, up through the plains along the eastern slope of the Rockies and below on either side of that. And Alaska with above average precipitation, U2, Hawaii. So it looks like snow's coming your way in New Mexico, Texas, even parts of Arizona, and then moving into the Tennessee River Valley and parts of the southeast. So a southern snowstorm on the way. We'll keep you updated as we get closer. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. The weather.